Welcome to Secular Soup. Stay tuned for real talk about atheism, feminism, politics, parenting, and whatever the fuck else Amy and Amy want to talk about, because this is their show. And get ready for a whole lot of motherfucking profanity.
You want to hear a secret?
I won't tell anybody. Go ahead. If I sit next to you, I'm going to get gonorrhea. It's going to jump into me. Just two ladies hanging out.
Is it okay for me to make fun of his neck waddle if I make fun of my own neck waddle?
I'm not sure.
That's a real ethical conundrum.
Would you know if you were born a lizard person, or can you be like adopted into the...
I think you know.
We're such professionals.
We really are.
Buckle up, bitches. It's time to have some soup.
I'm Amy with a Y.
And I'm Amy with an I.
And we are doing a very special video episode today because we have a guest who needs to be seen in all of her video glory.
Fantastic.
Having an audio version would not do. So we were lucky enough to get See, I fucked it up already. I'm sorry.
The fantastic.
The fabulous Momma Ashley Rose, who told me that she does not swear usually. So
okay,
I warned her ahead of time. She could choose not to, but we're gonna do it either way. So I'm going to give her a little heads up that we're bringing her on camera. Mm-hmm. But we wanted it to be kind of a surprise for the people who
are watching.
I guess. Are people watching this? I don't know.
Maybe dozens of our fans.
If I name it porn again, like I did the last one.
Yeah. No, we don't want her to be in a show called Momma Ashley, Porn with Momma Ashley.
Hi.
Hello.
We are so excited.
I was like, and it delayed. So it was like.
Freeze.
It was almost like Amy's interview the other night.
Oh God!
I was so embarrassed, and people were messaging me that it was a bit. I'm like, I swear it wasn't a bit. I had no control over when I came in and came out. I swear.
I'll have to link it for people who haven't seen it. There was a great Holiday Cheer Stream-A-Thon, and Amy just could not get her shit together.
And so for some reason, I've never had a problem with video before. I've never had a problem with it before. And then it froze me. And then randomly I would cut in and cut out, but I would cut in and come out like.
She'd have jazz hands all of a sudden and just be like.
It was so random.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So my sweet partner was like, you're so funny that it came through, that you were still funny. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks for telling me.
It was adorable. I mean, it was fine. So
it was a nice way to spin it. I was like, that's very nice of you to say. I was embarrassed and I was crying backstage, but
So Momma Ashley Rose, tell us about yourself and what you do in your organization. Just kind of give us a little primer on who you are.
Absolutely. So I am a drag queen.
Wait, what?
So I totally did not wake up this way.
What?
Sorry to disappoint you all. I am a man-made woman.
I woke up this way, so
literally.
I basically did, actually.
So I am the founder and face of Rose Dynasty Foundation. And what Rose Dynasty Foundation is an organization where we mentor LGBTQ plus youth. And that's kind of the short version of what we do. We raise money. We're philanthropists, so we raise money for other local charities. And our biggest thing that we like to do is we like to spread the message that everyone is loved, accepted, and wanted, no matter who you are. With the twist of all this is I am a family-friendly drag queen. And if you don't know what that means, basically anything that you see of drag queen on TV in the world, that's probably been not me. And it's okay because everybody has their place, and we can talk more about that later. But I created this foundation for it's safe for all people, for all ages. So anything that I perform, anything I do, whether it is a show, a live stream, whatever performance, any age can see it and be okay seeing it.
That's good.
That's cool.
I wanted to create an atmosphere where people are safe, and more than anything, that they know that they're loved and accepted. And I remember not feeling that way at times in my life. So we own and run the only family-friendly drag pageant in the world. Ooh. So this drag queen pageant, we could talk more about that. I love talking about it. But we actually, it's charity-based, and we raise money for charities every year. And it's just an awesome adventure here in Central Florida and pretty much all over the country now. So that's kind of the brief summary of it.
Nice. The real star is here now because he could not keep himself away. So
oh my gosh,
I was looking, going, what? Why is
yeah? She met my kids before the show. Yep. Amy's cats during the show. It's just
I heard there was a paw coming around the corner. I have a little curtain here, and I'm just like, really, right now you have to.
Mm-hmm. It's their room, not yours. You should know that.
Pretty much. They love podcasting.
I mean, that's what happens with cats. So. The entire house is their house.
Exactly.
The way it goes.
So, just so people know, I have no idea what I'm doing as far as video editing goes. So what I'm going to try to do is kind of keep us in this gallery view, unless one of us is talking, you know, giving a longer soliloquy, so to speak. And then I'll try to put that person in the frame, but we'll see.
It's okay. I don't expect you to be a professional video.
I'm just not.
I do actually. I'm very upset that she did.
Oh, okay.
Chappie's very professional.
Thank you.
He doesn't know how to run the camera.
Could she have researched this for hours extensively?
I mean, come on. It's not like I.
What else are you doing? Right.
That's true. Yeah.
You are up in where are you at again?
Minnesota. She has nothing else to do.
I'm in Minnesota. I'm in rural Minnesota. I'm in like the Fargo part of Minnesota. So.
Yeah, she is.
I've actually never been there.
Really? Lucky you.
I don't think you've missed anything. I'm just guessing.
Listen, I've been to some strange cities in this country, so
I'm assuming it's not much to miss.
There's not. I mean, Minnesota has some great places. This is the one I'm in is not one of them. So God damn it, Chappie, you've ruined every fucking
I'm
episode.
In Dallas area. I'm in Dallas.
Yeah, she's an actual cosmopolitan.
It's hot in tornadoes.
It is. Well, not right now. Right now it's like, 50s. It's great.
So,
and I'm in Central Florida, and it was 60 degrees this morning, so be jealous.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm so fucking jealous. I'm so jealous of you guys. You have no idea.
I'll send her a text. I'm like, I had to wear socks today because it was kind of cold.
Listen, I love this fur. I think it's very fashionable, but I'm wearing it because I'm cold. So
yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like
made out of my last cat. I don't like to waste the cat. So I'm just kidding.
I mean, I appreciate you recycling.
Use every part.
I like to use every part of the cat. So, so I was asking. I have a friend who it's her whole thing. She's the first person that ever got me into going to a drag show because I'd never been to one. I love drag shows. I'd never been to one, and I'm like, it doesn't come up in a small town. And we actually had a professional group from Minneapolis come to the town I'm in and do a show. And she's like, no, we got to go to the show. It was the most amazing fucking thing.
The energy in the shows. It's just so much fun.
And couldn't believe.
I love it so much. Oh. There's a tiny little Mexican restaurant that does drag shows every Thursday night, pre-COVID. Oh, wow. And you would go and it's like all the songs are in Spanish and it is so much fun. And
the dancing was amazing.
So much.
The host that they do,
and the margaritas are strong. That's what I remember.
Yeah,
that's what's always important. I hear
it really matters.
It makes us look good.
Yeah,
it really makes us look really pretty.
Everybody was fantastic. I was like in love, like half in love with everybody in the show, and by the end of the night,
the host who did the one that we have here, her name's Barb, and she usually works in Minneapolis. And oh my God, we're all like, can Barb be our best friend? We just want Barb. She goes by Barb on Facebook.
I mean, like Barb and then Flo.
Yes.
Barb.
It's like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just sounds like a great group. I would love to be a part. I should come to that area and throw a show. I would do that.
Yes, awesome.
The littlest town. I love hitting those little towns. Mm-hmm. I'm actually in a little town in Central Florida now. When I first came out 100 years ago, we'd have been shot dead walking down the street. But now we got a little bit more culture. But our county is really big, so we have some real small rural areas. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in a little town called Okeechobee, Florida. And if you don't know what that is, there's this hole in the middle of Florida. That's actually a lake, not a hole. I mean, granted, things have known to disappear in that lake, but so a very dairy town.
Yeah.
My goal is they've not had a drag show there yet, and I will be I will be doing that one way or another. We're going to do it. So I'm all about doing small things. So anyway, you were saying about your friend.
Yes.
That's a fantastic thing.
She's the first person that got me into, and she and her son go to drag shows down in Minneapolis when she visits him down there. And she's like, this first show that I went to with her, she's been a friend of mine for years, and we kind of have this little triad of friends where it's the three of us that go and do stuff together. My other friend and I have never seen her that animated in her entire, like, she just, as soon as the drag queens came out, she just lost her mind, and she was like, bring money, you got to bring the dollars. And here she was teaching them all the etiquette, and she is fucking serious about it. And I told her I was interviewing I was going to interview a drag queen, and she's like, oh, so yeah, I love her so much anyway.
Who's going to watch this feed? Yeah. She will.
Her enthusiasm for drag queens is just,
fantastic. Yes, she will.
It's fantastic. I love it so much.
And it's something, though?
Yeah,
loved it.
And as a drag queen, I see this and experience it. And I know before I even did drag, as much as drag queens kind of scared me back then, like, we just bring energy. We bring things out.
It's just the energy level.
Yep. So, not only for just gay people, but you always, and back in my time of when I did work in the bars and still, if I may go to one, like, it's always that one drunk straight girl that is causing the scream. Yeah, she's that one that, honestly, I can tell you a secret. Don't tell her I said this.
She's not causing problems, but yeah.
Everybody in the back is probably making fun of her because if she's the screaming, annoying one that keeps interrupting the show, we love her, but we hate her.
She's not that person. She is not. She's like,
there's always that one.
Shush other people. She is
good.
She's all about.
There was this guy that was at the show that was like, he was being kind of obnoxious. And so they started dedicating all the songs to him and proposed marriage halfway through the show. They were like, Kyle, marry me, Kyle. I'm like, oh my God.
The things they say in the dressing room about those drunk women. It's so funny.
She's the one that's like, she will go around the room and she's just fierce about it. She's like, you watch them, you give them their dollars, they are earning it. She's in awe the whole time. Like, she's not screaming. She's just, oh my God, look at what that, oh my, she just, I love her enthusiasm for it.
I'm the one who's drinking the
super
super strong margaritas in the back. And then as you walk by, I'm like, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful.
And I'm like, oh yes, I'll take your dollars.
Yes.
That's me. I'm like, you're just so beautiful.
I have thousands of dollars worth of makeup on my face. Thank you. I will take your dollar bill.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what is your makeup routine?
Pay towards the fund.
Like, how much time does it take you? If
you're not watching it, you should. You need to watch it.
Put on the video version.
Her eye makeup is absolutely stunning.
Point. Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing.
You can always follow my Facebook, and we'll talk whenever we do that. I usually
you can drop your links constantly. We don't care.
Oh yeah, plug it constantly.
Momma Ashley Rose, MOMMA.
Yeah.
Not MA. It's MOMMA.
No, it's Momma.
Momma. Yeah. So when I paint my face, I usuly do it live on Facebook.
Okay. It's fantastic.
So many people, well, first of all, that's the only time I seem to be able to collect tips. But not even that, just I just love to chat and talk about what I do. I kind of keep the same general look that I have for the last several years. I wish I'd have sent you some pictures of before what I looked like back in the day. I look like the worst third grade teacher or librarian that just picked up a makeup brush and did not know what the heck.
That's what I look like when I try to do makeup.
One eyebrow, all that stuff. So, but I do it on live, just because I love to chit chat, and I usually say, come chat with me while I paint my face. So aside from doing it live, this morning, this makeup I did in just under 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
That is shaving, washing my face, and doing my makeup. Okay. As a man, I am pretty hairy. Shh, don't tell anybody I didn't shave my arms. I just told the whole world, whatever. But I had a full beard this morning, like full beard.
Oh my goodness.
So I shaved it and cleaned myself up, and then went to painting. So and this is what I tell a lot of people that want to do drag, because I do have a lot of drag, what we call drag kids, drag children. I don't want to make little mamas. I want to make little artists and little creative beings.
Yeah.
You know, just like you don't want your kids to be like you. You want to grow up to be themselves or individuals.
Right.
So my technique has taken me 20 years of drag has evolved to where it's at today. And I tell people this, that if your drag is the same, if my drag is the same in 5 years, then I should have quit 5 years ago. It constantly needs to evolve.
Can't get stale.
Yeah, exactly. So I use all my makeup is stage makeup. So and I always like to say this, Krylon is what I use, not the spray paint Krylon, but it's a stage makeup. Krylon does not sponsor me, but if they want to, I'll take the sponsorship. But my foundation is all Krylon.
Okay.
And I use a lot of powder to bake. And then I do something different. If you see, I have white here. I actually do my whole eye, everything where there's color, it was white. And the reason I do it, I want the color to pop. And secondly, my skin sucks up pigment. I used to just put primer and do it like most drag queens just use primer. And in an hour or two, it's gone. I'm like, no, I need to do it. So I have this, it's called Miron. It's face paint. It's professional face paint. And I put the white on there and it dries and then I paint over it.
Okay.
Wow.
So
that's dedication.
It's amazing.
It's a lot of work. I love it. I use a cream contour and powder on top. And my palette, so I use Krylon shadows for years for my contour, for my shadows. And I love it. It's great. Well, now there is this entertainer called Alexa Stone. And you heard my Alexa in the background just yell at me.
We have an episode where mine is playing in the background. It's happened.
She'll probably start talking in a minute. But anyway, so Alexa Stone is she's an illusionist. You've got to Google their stuff. They are phenomenal. They will do man, woman, like they will transfer themselves to look like any person in the world. Wow. They're phenomenal. So they've just come out with a new line of makeup and their shadows are sick. Like they're the best. I recommend them. Miss Stone, if you want to sponsor me, I'll take the sponsorship.
We will too. We will also.
Right? We'll take money.
I'll wear it. I'll wear makeup all the time. I will. I can do it.
It's phenomenal. So I use that for my shadows. And then my lips, I use a lot of NYX. NYX's lip stains. Yeah. This has been on since 8:00 this morning.
I have a red NYX. I do.
Yeah. And it stays on like ridiculous. And then I use a little bit of gloss and stuff in the middle. But nice. I have put my makeup on at 6 a.m. and went to Magic Kingdom and did 16 hours of drag at Disney for gay days and came home and still had makeup on.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So it's a lot of work, a lot of routine. I love it. Like there are some days I'm like, oh, this is a lot of work. And then it never fails. The second I just start putting it on, I'm just like,
it's like magical.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is. It's a lot of work. But yeah, so it's that routine. And of course, I run around with no wig on and all that. And the last thing I do is put my jewelry on. My wonderful friend, I will plug him.
Those are gorgeous.
Yes.
These are custom made just
and the
for me.
Ring. I've been looking at the ring.
So my friend Chris Mystery does amazing. He's done RuPaul, like he's done all these like crazy drag queens from all over the world. So he made all my stuff that I'm wearing today and custom for me. He made them and I was like, they're missing a pearl. And he went and added the pearls back in. I'm known for my pearls. So yeah.
I love that.
So I hope that answers your question about the makeup. It's a lot of work. I use anywhere between NYX and e.l.f. setting sprays. I will tell you, and I'm as a former cosmetologist, I'm not promoting this, but hairspray works amazing to set your makeup.
Okay.
If you're going to Disney World for all day, it works.
Good to know.
Very good to know.
It's not good for your skin.
See, so my problem is I'm a redhead and I'm allergic to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I put on just mascara and my eyes are itchy because I'm allergic to just mascara. So I have to be super careful about what I use, how I use it,
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Is there something that's more hypoallergenic or better for you, like easier to wear?
Aveda.
Okay, thank you.
I love
Aveda.
I am an Aveda color artist.
Okay.
I worked for Aveda.
That's good to
Aveda,
know.
I've been asking you for years, sponsor me.
They're in Minnesota. We all know
Sponsor
each
her.
other. So
right.
I need to use that because I use Neutrogena on my skin, like to wash my face, but I don't know anything I can put on.
I got a great seriously, let's talk about you need to get off of Neutrogena. We'll talk about some.
Okay. Well, because I use that microdermabrasion like scrubby stuff because I like the scraping, but that's probably not good for
like
me.
scraping your face.
Because I'm on the wrong side of 27, as I like to say.
So I'll just say I'm sure my wonderful friend and boss Patricia's probably will end up watching this, and she'll be cringing when you said that, and she'll be happy that I promoted Aveda because those products are great. So anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, we have an Aveda Institute in Minnesota, which is where we all got ready when my brother got married.
I'll take a look at that.
His wife and all the girls, we went and got dolled up at the Aveda Institute. It's fantastic.
Okay.
All my skincare after this, which I don't know, you probably haven't seen me as a boy too much, but after this, Aveda is what removes this and keeps me.
Wow.
Because that's what I need. Because I have really dry skin, but I'm really I actually am too, but I don't say that. I say I'm 27.
You're 29.
I'm 29.
That's all right. We look great.
Am I the oldest person in the room right now? Holy shit.
Are you older than me?
She's older than me. Yeah, she's 43. And I'm not actually 41 for 2 more weeks. So
when is your birthday?
January 7th.
Mine's the 3rd. January 3rd.
Yay, Capricorn.
Yes, I'm a year older than you. Woo.
Yep.
So I drank the blood virgins to stay looking like this. So yeah.
I attribute it to all of the clean living in my life.
as we drink the beer, you drink the beer, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's because I don't have whiskey. I'm really upset about that.
Oh, you poor thing.
Because yesterday I was like, do I go to the liquor store? Because it's Texas, so there's all those weirdo blue laws. And so I'm like, do I go to the liquor store? And I'm like, nah, I don't want to go back in the car because I'd driven for like 4 hours already. And then now I'm stuck with beer. So
I'm drinking my water and my.
For you.
I know, you're so good.
So tell me about the, were you saying that you were doing drag story time, like the story hour thing? Tell me about
love that.
So, I read stories to children and adults. Like my crowd is mixture, like it's crazy. It's probably about half and half sometimes. We started doing story time in 2000, was June of 2019. So it's just over about a year and a half now.
Okay.
And we decided to do it here in our city, Lakeland, Florida. Lakeland and Polk County had no drag story time. There are people talking about it. There's lots of drag queens here. And then of course we're 45 minutes from Tampa, 45 minutes from Orlando. So there's a lot of crossover from drag performers. The closest drag story time that was going on was about 2.5 hours from here. And I wanted to do it for a long time and I had no place to do it. And long story short, my friend Patricia, who owns Venue Salon, who's a Aveda salon, we met and she's like, I love what you're doing. So if you ever want to use my salon, please, whatever you want to do for the community, it is yours.
Wow. That's fantastic.
So at that point I was like, well, there's my answer.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing drag story times at libraries, which is great. I mean, it makes kind of sense, but I'm like, but they're also suffering from protesters and all this. I'm going to do it in a private property by an owner that is supportive, and we're going to do this. Yeah. So we did our first drag story time, and there was over 70 people that showed up.
Oh, that's fantastic. I
love that.
And then do you film them so people can watch them?
I do now. I did not then, because of course we had no idea that what was going to be happening with COVID.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Nobody saw this coming.
Yeah, nobody saw this coming. So it was phenomenal, and I still get emotional with it because for me, reading has been a struggle. I hated reading. I hated it. I didn't feel, especially when it came to reading out loud. I can talk all day. I can carry on a conversation with a tree. But when it came to reading words, it was a struggle. So we set this up, and one of our friends, Craven, who is a drag queen, is a puppeteer, and we got to talking.
I love the name Craven too.
Craven, right?
Yes.
And their drag name is Craven Moorhead.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
After Agnes Moorhead,
I get it.
Yes, so great.
Now, so David is a puppeteer, and before I did story time, I researched. I watched some good ones, and I watched some that going, what the heck did I just watch?
Yeah.
And nothing against them, but it was just some. And my point was, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right.
You're going to do it your way and right.
Exactly. And I'm like, what can we do that no one else is doing? And we decided to create a puppet, and we did drag story time with Bubble Gum. He is our 5-year-old non-binary puppet.
Oh,
and Bubble did story time with us for so long. And let me tell you, it was a hit. These kids didn't come to see me. They wanted to see Bubble.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. So we created this puppet. David built it from scratch and was our puppeteer. And like I said, the first time was 70 Teens, and I read 2 of Dolly Parton's books. I read I Am a Rainbow, and I read Coat of Many Colors, because Coat of Many Colors is dear to my heart. It speaks to my heart and my life and my history, and Dolly Parton is a big inspiration.
I love her so much.
Most drag queens, but for me, like she is one of the many reasons I do what I do. So it was phenomenal. So we did this every monthly at the salon up until COVID. And then when COVID happened, I was like, crap, what am I going to do? And at that point, I'm like, I had to reinvent a lot of other things that we do with the foundation. I'm like, we've got to do something. I can't just sit here.
You can't just leave people alone, you know?
Right. Well, and for the first 2 to 3 weeks, I was depressed. Anxiety. I suffer from anxiety and PTSD. So this like triggered me from a nightmare. And I literally woke up one day and said, if I don't do this, I am either not going to survive or my people are not going to survive. And if I don't do something, I need to do something. So at that point, we revamped everything Rose Dynasty does, and we started doing story time. And I jumped on it. I said, we're doing it every Sunday at 2:00 on Facebook Live.
Nice.
And since April, I have done a story every Sunday on Facebook now, and also YouTube and Twitch. We stream, whether it's live or pre-recorded, a story at 2:00 every Sunday. And we're getting 50 hits, 100 hits, 500 hits, like it varies. But I'm providing this for the children. I'm providing this for the families. And again, just creating this safe space and just doing something different. Bubble is off with his family in quarantine, so we've not really got to spend a lot of time with them, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We've just created this amazing thing that's happened. And so, yeah, every Sunday at 2:00, and you can go Rose Dynasty Foundation YouTube, and you can go back and watch all the pre-recorded since we started. So yeah, I look back at the first day I started reading, and I'll never forget it. I looked at my husband as I was getting ready to walk out of the dressing room, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm like, my heart was pounding. I was ready to cry. I was so overwhelmed. First of all, there's 75 people that showed up, and that was who registered. Like did a registry. It was a free registration. It was so exciting. So I remember I was scared out of my wits. I'm like, what if I read the story wrong? What if I stumble over words? I'm going over this whole perfection thing in my mind. Yeah. And I was reminded by as many people in my life had told me, if you don't do this, who else is going to do it?
Exactly.
And I, it's our own organization. We're doing it, and we're doing crazy things. Today I read stories in public for the first time. It was an awesome event, and I did some pre-recording. So I just, again, it's providing that and encouraging children to read. And it's not even just encouraging them to read. It's we share life stories. We share life skills. We talk about diversity. We talk about, I'll read LGBT books, and I'll read Shel Silverstein and Dr. Seuss. We just kind of just go through a diversity of it.
Well, I think there's so much value in having kids just be able to see different kinds of people, be around, not be around the same sort of person constantly.
That's boring. Honestly.
Yeah, it is.
It's boring.
It's nice to have.
That's why my kids are in like a tiny, teeny little town. It's a suburb. And so I try to introduce them to as much outside of their own little bubble as possible.
Yeah.
My family did not get out much. And I was the one that was like, I have to see the world. I have to experience something different.
We talk about that a lot. It
kind of makes you the outlier, but it also makes you better for it. It just does. We talk about it a lot.
We talk
I'm
about
the outlier
how
in my family, and
I'm not so much the outlier in my family, but in my town,
I know I am.
It's so there's like no diversity in this town, and so how do you raise kids that see that diversity? And so you have to make an effort to actually take them places and make friends who aren't exactly like you and introduce them to those people. And I mean, it's valuable just to be able to do that, and so that they don't grow up to be little assholes.
We showed, so I found this show. It's like this random little sitcom. It's it's on CBS, but they don't sponsor us either.
Give us CBS money.
Right? I want CBS money. But it's called The Neighborhood, and it's absolutely fantastic because it introduces a lot of conversations about prejudice and diversity, and because it's this white family that moves into a predominantly Black neighborhood, and it's from both of their perspectives. And so you kind of get an idea of, in a lot of conversations. It just opens up a lot of conversations. And I watched it with all my kids. I watched season 1 with all my kids.
I think it's so important, especially, this year, us, with Black Lives Matters and a lot of, racial divide that became more, it was always there, but it became.
It's always been there. Yeah. Yeah. No one's, racism isn't fixed as much as we talk about how we fixed it.
Not even fixed, not even remotely. And we talk about that. We talk about racism. We talk about, today I read a story called Santa's Husband. That one threw people for a loop. And at the end, I was like, so the whole point of this is to understand that, first of all, none of us know what Santa looked like.
Exactly.
No. He may have 3 husbands or 3 wives or nobody. He may be alone, but the point of this is to express. And by the way, the Santa was Black. He wasn't a white Santa. He was married to a white Santa. A white man. So it was like, we're showing this diversity, and I read books on bullying. Like one of the first couple weeks we read a book on bullying, and it was right before school started. And I wanted to make sure that I imparted into these kids the importance of the effect of bullying, especially because some of my kids can be bullies.
It really causes a problem.
It does. And also the kids that are being bullied. And the response was, again, it just goes back to like, this is why I do what I do. When I hear these stories of an 8-year-old who comes home and mom says, how was your first day? And she goes, well, I got bullied, but the whole time, all I could think about was Momma Ashley Rose saying that I'm loved, accepted, and wanted, and hold my head high and be myself. And I was like, that is why I do it.
Yes.
It's imparting this diversity. It's imparting this thing. And I try to get local authors or like people I may meet. I've read some wonderful books. I read a book Sherilyn Matthews, our Miss Rose Dynasty, read a book on diabetes. It's called The Pretty Pink Pump. And it's about a princess who has a pink diabetes insulin pump. Perfect. And again, just disabilities and on, just letting people know that not everybody's like you.
Exactly.
No. And it's, I think, not through you doing that, and through other people just putting themselves out there. I do believe it's getting better for, kids even in my area. So. I have a friend who's got a child who's trans, who is in middle school, and just today was like, okay, I need to have a hoodie made that says Alphabet Mafia on it in rainbow, like just this whole, could you do that by Christmas? And I'm like, you're goddamn right I can, because I just bought some rainbow sparkle glitter for somebody else's shirt that they wanted me to make. But like they do get bullied sometimes, but they also know that their family has their back and that there's this community of us out here that have their back. And I feel like when I was in high school, that never would have happened when I was in high school at all. And
you'd have found me dead.
Yeah.
I would if I would have went
literally
to high school or anything. Oh yeah. For the town I come from. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so, and we work with a lot of trans youth. And of course my story time is focused toward, it was supposed to be focused toward the younger ones. But of course, like I said, the teens come in all ages. And along with that, Rose Dynasty, talking about that, is we also have a teen support group. Okay. And pre-COVID, we met once a month here in Lakeland and once a month in Gainesville, Florida, which is about 2.5 hours north of us, where Florida Gators are from, where University of Florida's at. And we did monthly meetings there, and we had anywhere between 10 and 20 teens at each group monthly. And then of course, again, when COVID happened, I had to be like, all right, what am I going to do? Because these kids are home. Some of these kids may be home with parents that aren't accepting, with parents that aren't safe. What are we going to do? So there's a server called Discord. If anybody's listening doesn't know what it is, Discord is it's for gamers, but it's kind of like our old school chat rooms mixed with Skype, and it's all come together. And I created a private server that only our teens can get into with my permission. So anybody that
I'll have to add my two oldest boys.
We need to add them in. Yeah. Because, and again, they have to, so like this, I see you, I saw one of them earlier.
Well, the other one didn't come out, but he's actually the one that would probably need it more. Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're doing this. And
but he's not going to come out and say hi or anything, but he would need it more.
Mm-hmm. And that's providing that safe space. And in that server, no one can get in without seeing me or me letting them in. We have different chats set up where like meme chats and encouraging ones is show off. And we do game nights every Saturday night. Some of the teens right now are playing games. My phone's blowing up because they're in there chatting and playing games.
Good.
So I can kind of monitor, and I have some youth leaders that lead different events, movies and all this. So we're constantly doing events.
That's so good.
Wow.
And we went from like 30 to 40 teens to like almost 8. Like we've doubled in size.
So good.
And teens like
yours, they need it. Texas. They need it.
And again, providing a safe space. I cannot touch and change everybody.
No.
But if I can make a difference in a small group, because then we know that they can make a difference and go on in there. You know, I want to change the world. That's my goal in life, is for people to have a better life than I did. You know, like we said, when we were younger, we couldn't have been out. Like I was scared to death, and I was forced to go through conversion therapy at that time. So that was a whole nother nightmare.
Well, yeah. And now we've got my friend who has the trans child. They're fighting at the state capitol level to get, Minnesota still has legal conversion therapy.
Oh my gosh.
And we've been trying to get it banned for a while now, but you know, my friend actually decided to run for the state house with this being his main issue. Like, you know, my child could be forced to go through this if I weren't their parent. And and we can't get our local representative to get on board with it because he just won't. He's kind of a terrible person, but the fact that it's still legal, it's shocking to me. I never mind talking about this still, I'm still in therapy and working through all this, you know, but I'll say this, it is like Amy has said, you know, it's barbaric. It is. It is. It's an old mindset that needs to be done.
You need to fix someone.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing is I remember under 7-8 years old, thought my babysitter's brother was hot. Like I was in love with him. Like it was natural to me. It was inherent. I didn't wake up one day and be like, oh, I like boys. No, I knew it.
Always liked boys.
And I grew up in the AIDS era. So, you know, in 1987, 88, when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, that was the first thing that came to people's mind. You're gay, you're going to die AIDS, and, you know, die of AIDS. And then, of course, religion came in and all that.
Yeah.
So with conversion therapy, I think I have a rough balance, and some of my friends that went through it kind of disagree with me. So I understand why people do it.
Yeah, they're trying to save you.
They're trying to save you
from a place of love, but it's.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I mean, I get it. I was raised Mormon, so I understand.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, so I don't think it's. There's this many people that are genuinely barbaric about it. That
want to see you harmed.
Right. It's legit someone that cares about your soul, or
they're trying to see you in heaven with them.
Right. So I get it. But at the same time, I also know the experience, and I know the mental and emotional anguish and the PTSD that caused from it.
Yes.
You know, and it's a dangerous thing. And I will stand and fight against it in a day. I have been lucky that many of the people who started those organizations, I know and I'm friends with, and I've had conversations with, who obviously they either later came out or they later retracted and publicly apologized, and me being one of the few that still embraced them, because I get it. People were injured by them and people didn't want anything to do, but they've legit saying, listen, I was wrong. They shut these organizations down, and they legit were saying, forgive me. Yeah. So I've been able to be part of some reconciliation with that. But, you know, it's sad that there are still states out there that believe and think that. And I mean, look at it. I love researching like ridiculous, stupid laws. Like Florida has some of the stupidest laws. I mean, it's illegal to walk, from what I understand, to walk around with more than $3 worth of quarters in your pocket. I'm like,
it's reasonable though.
I would do that. I'd be like, I'm breaking the law.
I'm like, come on, you know. So
like you can't in Texas, you can't have a donkey above the second floor in a hotel.
Dag nabbit, I always like taking my donkey.
When would that come up? I'm just wondering. I'm like, but the first floor is okay, the lobby's okay, the bar's cool, but upstairs.
So you know, we're just like right now, they're trying to get rid of the Ryan White law that happened with giving blood. You know, LGBT people were not able to give blood for so long, and still technically aren't. But that was because of the AIDS pandemic. in the 90s, and the blood wasn't being tested, and of course,
because it was like the Wild West with blood. Honestly, like my mom got hepatitis from that, like back in the day. Like she's still hepatitis positive, like hepatitis B, because of blood in the 80s, 70s, 80s.
It wasn't just AIDS, but because AIDS was so the forefront and it was a gay disease, they automatically did it. And there's a lot of history with that. So like those things are slowly being overturned. And I spoke at a Pride last year, and there was a lot of protesters, and it was actually one of the most powerful, impactful prides I have ever emceed, to watch people not lash out at protesters, but silence their voice, which there's a difference.
Yes.
And what I told this crowd, and I can continue to tell people, and I tell our youth, is I hate to say this, is first of all, those mindsets are going to eventually die off.
They will. They are.
You know, they are going to die off. They're going to slowly disappear. The ones that try to keep it kindling are going to be so few and far between.
Everyone will be so personally affected on some level.
Exactly.
That they're not going to feel that anger and hatred anymore.
But what has to happen, and what has been happening, and we've seen this for several reasons this year, with everything that's gone on with all this stuff, is our voices unite. When our voices unite, and we saw that recently, when everybody's voice unites, we'll silence out the hate.
Yeah.
And we will continue to mute them out. Our voices will become louder than theirs. Our faces will become more predominant than theirs. And it just takes time.
We're quietly taking over is what it is.
Exactly. And I tell my kids all the time, listen, I will never negate what you're going through, but I'm going to tell you something. Walk in my shoes 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
We're not where we need to be by any means, but I'm so grateful
we are further along.
Not where we were. Because if you would have told me 25 years ago when I was a pastor that I would be sitting as a drag queen telling kids stories, my first thought would have been, I backslid, or whatever story you want to say. So I know that our minds are changing and evolving, and I can go on this conversation for a long time.
I love it. I know. I was thinking of myself 20 years ago. I was like practically a child bride, like, just doing what I was supposed to do and following this narrow path. And
20 years ago, I was officially coming out of conversion therapy. And I personally moved into, I was still a believer, but I actually began to pastor LGBT churches, which they're all over the world now. But like I moved in that realm for a long time. And it did service to me. It did justice for me. But now I kind of break out of that to where our message really, and I talk about this a lot, is that you're loved, accepted, and wanted no matter who you are. My message is just to spread love and acceptance and to be kind. Talk about during the holiday season. It's about being kind to people.
That's basically how I parent. I tell my kids, don't be assholes, please.
Yeah.
Basically, my main thing is I want to send, 3 of my children and 3 stepchildren into the world. Nice, decent humans.
Yeah. And
kind people.
True acceptance.
Yes.
True acceptance is embracing the commonalities and respecting the differences.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you have to agree with the difference. It doesn't mean that you have to like the difference. It's respecting. It's just like, and I'll touch on this briefly because I don't do politics, but whether you're Democrat or Republican and whatever policies and whatever you're feeling, we've lost the respect between the two.
Right. You've assumed the other side is dumb.
Right.
Which is a problem. You can't assume that. You can't do that.
Have you broke down the word assume? You make out of you and me.
Yep.
Y'all can say, right. So exactly. So we as humankind, I think, have lost that mentality, and I think we're gaining it back. But there's a group of people, there's a mindset of people that have lost that of respect. Listen, I have family members that are completely opposite, polar opposite religious and political views of mine. And we had to have a conversation. And it's funny because they want to start to argue. I'm like, I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's
so that's I had to have a conversation with my dad once because I left religion. I left far. I was raised Mormon. I was raised very, certain way. And I have ended up very far from where I was raised to be. And I basically told him, just because my path doesn't look like yours doesn't mean it's wrong for me.
Right.
That's what I tell him, is every path can't be exactly the same.
No. Why would you want it to be? Like
so boring.
Yeah. The world is boring.
They would love it to be.
My kids, all I want is for my kids, like Amy said, to be kind people. Like just to the one thing they know I'll put up with a lot, frankly, because I'm a lax parent, but like the one thing I will not put up with is just meanness, is not being kind to people, is bullying, and I've tried to teach my kids to be the kids that stand up for the kids that are being bullied, that go and say something or that befriend that person. And I think Amy froze again, so I'm finding this hilarious.
Least freezing.
It's working,
Freezing.
She can be quiet for a minute, and
that's funny. I'm gonna
just shut her up by freezing her. No.
I mean, hopefully she can still hear what I'm saying. But we were talking about. She said about her journey, and this is what I tell people. I grew up with a mindset that we always were like, "I love you right where you're at, but you need to come with me, and you need to do what I'm doing."
Yeah.
And I changed that, and I'm a very, very strict on this with my kids and our organization. Is I'm gonna love you right where you're at, and you're welcome to come with me. My journey's fun and you want to be a part of it, great. If not, I'll see you on the flip side. I'll see you around later. It's okay. I'm going to respect you right where you're at. And we need more of that. Totally more of that in this world. That's for sure.
We do.
Welcome back.
She's coming back.
There are 3 teenagers on the internet right now. I should have drawn that line and said, get off.
Poor things.
I tried that. I was like, could you
I should have drawn that line and been like, oh my gosh, guys, come on.
I almost, my younger son was like, does that?
And I forgot to hardwire today. I hardwired last time, but it didn't really matter.
Someday when we make that sweet podcast money and we can really get a nice setup where we don't have our computers failing.
An OnlyFans podcast crossover.
You really are. I'm not going to do it. So you're going to have to.
I'll do it.
I asked my
family already hates me. It's fine.
My older son and I were talking about, I said something about OnlyFans, or he's like, you know what that is, right? And I'm like, so wait, could I like read books? Like if I have like a favorite book, I could do that, right? It's just
there was one of this guy's
people
dog
paying you to do whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'll do that. Heck yeah. Amy's gonna have to do all the other stuff. So my cats would have a great OnlyFans. I'm just saying.
Exactly. You could just call it Pussy Pics. Subscribers.
Oh my god. I have a 16-year-old and he's almost 17, and he's very excited. He wants desperately to do an episode with, I was gonna do it just with me, but he wants to have you on it too, where he just describes how Discord works to us, which I think is hilarious.
Been on Discord back in the day. I've done it.
He thinks we should have one for the show, and I'm like, I don't.
What would we do with it? I'm willing.
Exactly. That's the whole conversation we would have.
Just do Twitch.
Twitch is another thing that
we actually have a Twitch account
that I used one time.
I don't know what to do with it though.
Apparently, if you get enough followers and enough views, you start making money. Ooh. And I'm just not sure how to do that. But I mean, it's like YouTube, but it's not as many as YouTube.
Yeah,
there's an algorithm.
It's pretty ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Although so you may last week, our last episode, I titled the episode "Parlor is Porn," and the reason
Parlor is all porn now,
because we had talked.
I love that so much.
That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, was how Parlor, was this thing. All these right wingers were going to it, and it's turned into all porn now because they have no rules, right?
Oh, that
they left Facebook because they were being flagged as misinformation,
and so now they've got a cesspool of porn. So that's what we had talked about. Great. So I titled the episode.
It's very appropriate,
and we release all of our episodes audio only onto YouTube. And we usually get 4 or 5 people viewing our stuff on YouTube. We don't have a huge audience, but 4 or 5 people usually watch it on YouTube. And I'm scrolling through YouTube one night looking for some true crime to watch.
Later. 8
hours later. And I like to fall asleep listening to true crime because I'm a monster. And I happened to just slide past, and I was on my account, not the Secular Soup account. So it was like, hey, suggested. Look, Secular Soup put out, and it had 834 views.
In 8 hours.
And I just was, and at first I'm like, what the?
Slipping that word in every episode.
And I'm like, now I'm going to start calling, I'm going to title the episode. And then I think after that, I'll just put not porn, but see if for science, if I put the word in there, how many views? And it keeps going up. I check on it every couple of days.
That's so funny.
Like, what are you?
I mean, I don't blame him. It's a good episode, but
it's a great episode. Nobody's commented on it.
Of course not, because it's not.
One person made a comment that made zero sense, and I just replied back, "Great comment, thanks." But
they've got bots now that are commenting ridiculous on YouTube. I'm like,
I just thought, how many people are going onto YouTube just typing that word? Like, what do you? I don't know. I don't get kids. That's my whole point.
Funny.
Yeah.
So Discord, I'm still learning. Usually the kids, I'm like, one of my leaders, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. They yelled at me. They're like, you at everyone way too much. I'm like, because you don't read it.
Yeah.
I'm like, but then they're like, but we can mute it. And I was like, oh. Because you ask them too much and they can just mute the server. And I was like, heifers.
I asked my son, he just had back surgery about 8 weeks ago now, but he's got these friends that are, he's a total introvert. And so his best friends are basically internet only friends. They live in our town, but he has never met them.
Been there.
He likes it that way. They're on a Discord server. And I'm like, should like text them or something and let them know like you're out of surgery and you're okay. He's like, why? And I'm like, well, do you want me to send, do you have their phone numbers? No. I'm like, how do you talk to them?
He's like,
we're on a Discord server. I'm like, then can't you just go on the Discord server and like say I'm fine? Nah, I'm not going to do that.
My goddaughter had surgery a couple months ago and I had to be on Discord videoing her.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
no, he was
when
just
she was still like coming out of anesthesia. I'm like, no, really? But yeah.
Mine tried to get the surgeon to take a picture of his back opened up during surgery.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh, I asked for pictures of my surgery. Every time I have surgery, I'm like, can you send me pictures?
Oh God, no, thank you. I don't.
I've seen everything. Like when I had shoulder surgery and he showed me like through and through, like all these videos.
Wow.
I didn't my gallbladder, my gallstones. I always ask.
Do you know how they do intestinal surgery? Because I do, and I do not want to see that. I've had 4 surgeries.
I'm actually really disappointed that my scar is so little for my shoulder surgery.
No. With your intestines,
I was like, you didn't even make it jagged. Like I wanted something that looked like I was like torn open, but it's like a tiny little baby line.
Yeah, no, they apparently take your intestines
just rotator cuff. It wasn't even special.
Out of you, put them on a table next to you, and that's how they do surgery. And then they put them back in. And I'm like, I didn't find this out until after 2 surgeries and was like, why? What?
Because they're so long.
There's so much of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise they can't really work on it.
My son got the perfect crazy scar on his back because he's got an incision going. I mean, it was a full spinal fusion right under his neck to down to. And it is so straight and perfect. And we went back for his checkup and I told the doctor, it healed beautifully. And look how straight it is. And he's like, I know, I'm good at that. I did a good job. He's like, there's a trick to it. He's like, you have to, because it's crooked when you go in, but then you straighten it out. And then there's a trick to doing the, I'm like, well, thank you. Because it looks amazing. And now he can get a badass tattoo of a snake.
That's what I'm going to get. You have to wait 18 months though. So I'm waiting 18 months before I can get my sleeve started.
Well, the doctor did tell him.
I ask first recovery. I'm like, when can I get this tattooed over?
Whereas I have scars on my stomach that people can't even go near because touching it freaks me out. It's gross.
It hurts. Anyway. All my tattoos are on scars and it hurts.
Thanks. Well, I think it's been about an hour.
It's another layer of fun. I don't know.
We've taken up a bunch of your time and I know how much you might want to get that makeup off.
And actually
I mean, it's only been on my face for 9 hours, but that's okay. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
It is super fun.
I could totally talk. Thank you. Yeah, we can talk more.
Okay.
I don't care.
So do you have a Discord server for younger children, like 10?
So no, we do not. Damn it. We don't have anything for that yet. Story time is what we've had. I haven't been able to find a way. So internet policies tend to say 13 and older.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So like Discord, I did not know this until the other day because we had someone in our server who was 12 and weren't yet 13. And I was like, okay, you're close enough. And then I went back and read the terms and conditions and you have to be 13. And if they find it, they'll shut your server down. So we had
that's
to make
not good.
See, and my daughter would want to slip in, but she's only 11. So
yeah, I have a 10-year-old and I need to find him like a Discord server where I'm not, where he needs friends.
But my 15-year-old, the son that actually really would need it is 15.
Yeah. So that's our group is 13 to 20 is where we keep ours. We actually in person had started to try to do like 6 to 10 and then like 6 to 9, then like a 9 to 12. Sure. I'm only one person.
Yeah.
And we just weren't getting the feedback. So I was like, story time kind of was that part.
Yeah. It's hard to do stuff all on your own.
It's really hard. It's very hard.
It's hard when you're one person. And then when you have to work.
Exactly.
COVID, that was the blessing of COVID is I didn't have to work as much, but now I do go back to work in January. So now I'm
the other way. I had to work more during COVID.
Oh, wow. I mean, I know I did, but not getting paid.
I basically got to quit working for COVID.
No,
so I got lucky.
I've been working 60-hour weeks since. I can't even. It's a blur.
That's a lot.
It's amazing she's still there.
I'm barely.
You look great, girl. I get it. Before COVID, I was doing 80-hour weeks.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is. I'm like, I feel like a fuzzy, like I'm not even a human at this point, you know? I took a 2-hour nap yesterday and then I went to bed at 8:30. Like it was.
Oh, I know. I get it.
Ridiculous.
I passed out cold. I was doing hair and then I went to work for a clinic as a caseworker. So I was caseworker. I was doing hair on the side and running a whole organization.
Oh my goodness.
Plus being on committees and like all this stuff. And so COVID, it was kind of a blessing with that. So with Rose Dynasty, I like to say it all started with a pageant. It started kind of with like it made to make it official.
Yeah.
Was the pageant. And we've grown into this philanthropy and this like mentoring teens and youth.
I love it so much.
And building a community. I miss this part because our parents really became a community.
Yeah.
Our parents had support. And so on. So it was
that's the problem. You're stuck in like a small town. You have this kid that you love so much and you want the best for them and you don't have any peers. It's
so hard. And I'm been racking my brain of creative ways of getting that like 9 to 12.
Yeah.
And I might be able to create something. The only thing I can think of is creating literally a complete website in its own, but who has,
or like a Facebook group, but even those are hard.
Facebook's hard. A lot, and then having somebody run. I run our website and all our social media still,
and having someone admin it is the biggest. I mean,
that's the problem.
That takes all of your.
Yeah, I will tell my 15-year-old about Discord
because please do, and I'll send.
He's closeted at school, but he's openly gay in every other part of his life, and we live in a small town in Texas, and it is, we need to get it's not an accepting environment. It's very difficult.
I'll promote Rose Dynasty.
I don't know how to do editing at all. It's so bad.
I barely know. As I'm doing it, I'm Googling how to do this in the.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Yes, you have to. And I want to get to the point where I can actually have the time to do that. But between me and my partner, we have 6 kids. I have 60-hour work weeks. I don't have time. And I want to be able to have time.
I know it takes up. I screwed up one thing on our audio editing and it just fucked everything up. So I've been doing that all day trying.
For the other one, for the Don and John.
Yep.
Okay.
Usually it's a lining up thing. Like I screw up where the audio tracks are at, so you've got one person coming in too soon on everything, and it's a mess. But anyway, we should wrap this up because my internet is bound to die again.
It's probably going to die again.
It's definitely going to die again. So.
It was fantastic, though. I am like a huge fan now, and I want to be your best friend.
We definitely want you to come back again because we didn't get enough time to talk about everything. So
yeah, absolutely. Just let me know. We can talk about doing it again. I can come back and drag, or I'll come
just on the show.
Yeah, we can do audio only too.
Yeah, because if I just go to Florida at some point post COVID, and I'll just knock on your door and be
look me up.
I need a new best friend. You're right here. I'm already in love with you, and I worship the ground you rock on. So
that's what she says to me all the time. But
I never said that once to you. So I have literally never said that to you.
She's so much work. So why don't you plug your organization again? Tell us what everybody needs to know. We'll also put it in the show notes if my brain remembers. Hopefully, but yeah, give us one last. Tell us. All the things.
Absolutely. So you can find us at rosedynasty.org. Okay, or you can find us on social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Rose Dynasty Foundation. And myself, Momma Ashley Rose, MOMMA, Ashley Rose. I do have a fan page. I try to keep up with that. I have a personal Momma Ashley Rose page. And of course, the Rose Dynasty and Instagram and YouTube. Check out the YouTube. Please, if you have kids of all ages and shapes and sizes, check out all of our stuff on YouTube. It's all safe for everyone of all ages. We even have some drag queen paint nights that are up on there. We do those occasionally too with the kids.
That's so fun.
So you can always go back and get some paint and learn how to paint from a drag queen. So yeah, so check us out, look us up. Tell me where you heard about us from. That always helps too.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was the first
question you asked me. Where did he hear about me?
Like, I know. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are first time listening, please give us your money. Go to patreon.com/secularsoup. You'll hear Deanna after this tell you all of the things to find us because she recorded a great outro. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks to all of you motherfuckers who put up with the Amieys droning on week after week. If you enjoy their delightful bitchcraft, please follow them on all of the social medias and send them all of your money on Patreon or PayPal. You can find them on these platforms by using the Google machine. It's not hard. If you want to bitch with other fans about the show, join the Secret Soup Talk Facebook group. If you want to tell Amy and Amy to fuck off personally, you can send an email to secularsouppodcast@gmail.com, although it may go unanswered. Please rate and review the show on iTunes, Facebook, and wherever else you can review things like this. It will help spread the soup gospel far and wide. And hey, text someone right now. Tell your friends. As always, we'll leave you with the vocal stylings of Mr. Eli Bosnick.
Secular soup greed. Soup is the ultimate virtue. It's delicious, nutritious, patriarchy smashing, racism fighting, warm and fuzzy, human affirming, fun having, anti-theist, glitter throwing, tummy satisfying, pair of new shoes fulfilling, diversity seeking, happiness. Minestrone, beef and barley, chicken broth and split pea, gazpacho, tomato, clam chowder and potato, chicken noodle, beef noodle, egg drop and ramen cup, miso, gumbo, leek and pho. Grab a bowl and taste the magic. Slurp even this.
Okay, so we got an official goodbye. So good. Now we'll end. I'm freezing down here anyway. I need to turn my heater back
on. Well, I haven't eaten and I drank
I'm
2
starving
beers.
too. Thank you so much, though. We seriously want you to come back because there's so much more we could talk about. And
I'm trying not to like be all fangirly and start stalking you, but I'm right.
She's gonna.
Please stalk me, Instagram, Facebook, all that.
Okay, I'm right on the cusp of being like weird.
You're fine, believe me.
Okay, good.
As long as you're not one of those old men trying to be nasty with me, you're good.
I couldn't be an old man if I tried.
That's true.
I get those. We're still recording, whatever.
I don't think we are.
This part we're recording, but not.
Yeah.
Oh, I can stop recording.